Have you ever felt frustrated, overwhelmed, or stuck wasting time in admin instead of growing, leveraging, and scaling your business? Then this podcast is for you. Welcome to Delegate to Elevate, the podcast that's all about handing off what you don't need to do so you can focus on what you do best. So here's your host, Bonnie Schutz.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Delegate to Elevate, Get Done. Today, I would like to introduce you to Miss Elizabeth Ledoux. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's exactly right.
Yay. I love Frenchish sounding names. They're elegant. Yes. So Elizabeth is somebody that I found on LinkedIn because we were both commenting during a month when I believe, correct me if I'm wrong again, that she and I were both part of an effort during Older Americans Month or something like that, where we were flipping the script or changing the narrative on ageism or pro-age in a pro-age movement. I'm 57 and I don't care. I'll say it loud and proud. I am in the best second act of my life, kind of, bouncing into my third. But let me tell you a little bit more about Elizabeth, and then we'll kind of get into how she can tell me about what she's outsourced and what she does. Elizabeth Ledoux is the founder of Transition Strategists, where for over 30 years, she has helped hundreds of business owners successfully transition their life's work while preserving their relationships. Her philosophy is simple. Whatever you want to achieve is possible when the relationships surrounding you are whole and intact. Elizabeth guides families through their next adventures while maintaining what matters most. Drawing on personal experience from navigating her own family's ranch transition and now her company's transition
It's
roadmap
hard
planning.
word sometimes.
She's
I
also
know
the
it.
author of It's a Journey and serves as Denver chair for Tiger 21. No idea what that is, but we'll let her tell us what that is. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, I ran into her through the comment section of a LinkedIn month in a program that we were both participating in. And I thought, this would be a great person to have on the show because she helps you through a different, unique kind of time in your business where maybe it's hard to totally delegate over to a strategist or somebody that's going to help you, offload your business when you're ready to take that leap. So I'll let her say hello and tell me a little bit more about her background and how she has delegated in her career and in her journey as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you so much, Bonnie, for having me here. I'm really excited to be here with you. And yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about me. I am an old-time entrepreneur, just a very entrepreneurial spirit. And over the years, I've been doing consulting services type work for about 36 years. Over that time frame, I've built up our practice, and we use all of our own intellectual property, and so I don't borrow or license or do any of that with anybody else, and it's just
Right.
taken years to build and grow that. So I'm really happy about that. Our main focus is in transitioning businesses and helping families and people figure out how to put people first in their transition. So how do they um, how do they actually understand not only what they want, but how do they understand what everybody around them wants that they care for, so that they can put together a business transition strategy? Or you could think of it as an asset strategy, right?
Okay.
If I'm going to take an asset that's valuable and give it to another person, how do I do that well? And do they even want it? And what do they want
Yeah.
in their lives? And how does it fit in with their lives? And are they going to be the right one? And all of these other things. So
Okay.
anyway, that's
Okay.
what we have worked on over what I've worked on over
Wow.
30
Wow.
some years, trying to figure out how to
Yeah.
help people do that.
Oh, that's great. Well, what is Tiger 21? I'm curious.
Tiger 21, it's a fabulous organization that I actually became a chair there about 6 years ago. So I've been a facilitator of peer group learning through
Okay.
not only Tiger 21, but also the Women Presidents Organization. So
Yeah, I've
I've
heard of
been
that.
doing peer learning groups. Yeah, it's a great organization too. And yeah, so I've been doing that for
Okay.
over 20 years now. And Tiger
Fantastic.
21, started with them about 6 years ago. It's an organization, peer learning for people who have 20 million or more in investable assets and are
Okay.
trying to figure out what's next in their world and what's next in their life. So they might have had a liquidity event,
Yeah.
with their business,
Right.
or they might be in a place where their business is just large enough that it is producing significant proceeds, which is also fun. Both of
Yeah,
those are
I
good
bet.
things. Yeah.
Someday I hope to
Yeah.
get there and I'll
Wouldn't
call
that
you
be
out.
nice? Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So I
great.
chair
No.
2 groups in Denver.
Okay. That's great. Thank you for doing that for others. I mean, the giving back is what it's all about, I feel, in my second stage of life and in my strategy and what I plan to do with my businesses. But I love that it kind of coincides with my company, my VA agency, which is a life cycle company to me, in that and we talk a lot about on this podcast about growing your delegation muscles or your outsourcing muscles. And sometimes it's okay to just lift that 10-pound weight, but sometimes you want that 150,000-pound weight and you just want to give it off to everybody while you
Yeah.
have that 150,000-pound weight when they are ready to just either close it out, hand it off, liquefy their assets, all those things. And I haven't really gotten to that strength of the muscle on the podcast
Mm,
yet. You are I don't know, guest number, but you were episode 64, I believe. And
nice.
so it's crazy how many people I've talked to and not talked to somebody that does what you do yet. So when I
Yeah.
find those golden nugget people, I just have to have them come on. So you talked earlier about owning a family ranch and having to transition that. So what was that like? And tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. My parents, a long time ago, probably 40 or so years ago, they were able to purchase some land, and
Right.
they have lived on it for all those years. And as they get into their 80s, my brother and I actually are beginning to run the ranch.
Oh,
And there's a
cool.
whole, my brother's actually a CPA, and I have this company, the Transition Strategists, and do my work.
Right.
And so neither one of us are ranchers. We did not grow up doing this because they bought it after I was out of high
Oh,
school,
okay.
and I didn't grow up on the place. And so it's a really interesting thing to consider, being a successor in a
Hmm.
business, because it's in a family business that has operations, and it has all the things that go with it. Any asset like that, when you're thinking about it, it can even be a asset that's in public equity, where you've
Right.
got a significant amount of money in a family that needs to be transferred and managed by
Hmm.
another generation. Anything like that, it's a big learning curve to figure out how to be the successor and come in and do that work well. Not
Yeah.
just do it and try to figure it out, but that you are confident to know
Yeah.
how to do it. Yeah,
It means something when that's been handed down to you, and you don't wanna let them down. You wanna
I
be as
know.
successful as they were. Yeah.
Well, and hopefully our parents are living old, and to an old enough age that
Yeah.
they're fun to be around, they're
Yep.
active, but they're not. You and I both know, as you get a bit older, your brain doesn't work quite the same way, and
We
your
do
body
know.
doesn't work quite the same way. And so for them to be able to kind of let go and still enjoy life and not worry about all the details of the day to day, but
Yeah.
still, yeah, I think it's important for all of our families to be able to do that for our parents.
Boy, I imagine. I don't have my parents anymore. I'm down to a father-in-law, and we're watching him and supporting him like a hawk. And he had a business, so he owns and part of a building. So I can see this coming our way at some point in time. He's 85 in September. And my parents did live long lives, by the way.
Oh,
My mother was
beautiful.
81, my dad was 91.
Wow.
But I could see where that at least I am always a heart led business owner, and I would see that if I had been given that kind of a business that I would just want to have poured my soul into it, but I've been going in blind because I would have no idea how to continue that. So having a service like you provide would have been so valuable, and I love that.
Um,
Um,
thank
so
you.
you're welcome. So when you popped over to the transition roadmap planning kind of part of your journey, and you
Yeah,
authored a book called It's a Journey.
that's
um,
right.
yeah, what was the first thing in your solopreneur type business that you outsourced or you delegated?
Yeah, so I'll just tell you my story.
Sure,
Um,
please.
being a consultant and being a producer, one of the
Mm,
first things that I delegated was my literally day-to-day kind of emails and things like that. Because one of the
right,
things that happened, when you're focused and you're working with clients, you're not paying attention to what's going on in your email and all of the other things. And what I
right.
found is that every single time I had an executive coordinator, I call them, could be an
I love
executive
that.
assistant, executive coordinator, whatever you
Yep,
want, but I like executive coordinator
I
because
like
they
that
coordinate
too.
my life. And so I just, every time I had a good executive coordinator, my production and my health and my well-being went
Mm,
up.
mm.
It paid for every single second of that person and more. So it was a super big, wonderful investment in my life and in my work,
Nice.
because my clients got better attention and my productivity went up and I could do more. So it was really
Oof.
cool. So that was the first thing always that I would delegate, is that, and then our project
Mhm.
coordinating, back
Okay.
office scheduling, and all of those things.
Right.
So yeah, yeah.
I
So
love
those are
that.
the
That's
two things.
perfect. And usually when I
Yeah.
ask people that, can you guess what? And it's not that, but I usually ask my guests, what was the first thing you delegated? And what might you guess might be something different that they say? Most of them.
Mm. I don't know. So maybe sales or
Bookkeeping.
the work. Oh yeah,
Bookkeeping.
bookkeeping. Yeah, bookkeeping goes there too really
That's up
quickly.
pretty high and quick.
That is
Yeah.
up pretty high.
Yeah,
That's
that's usually the
right.
first, and then some sort of an assistant of something is usually second. And I
Yeah.
love that you were speaking my love language after 30 years of being an assistant, because I was just, I am a servant natured person, and it just was felt perfect for me to be in that role. And I continue on. That is my legacy. Having been that, I
Yeah.
mentor in that field now, and I build up my team that I have, and I talk to I've kind of just grown a new passion for women over 40, 50, 60 plus, and helping them join my business as virtual assistants, because a lot of times that age discrimination is so real. If they've lost a job or something and they're trying to find something new, they can't find it. So I want to help. Like, I just, all I
Oh
want to do ever
yeah.
is help. And then
Um,
clients, boy, if I could have a VA and a client both in that situation, win-win.
it's
For
a
sure.
win-win.
It definitely
Yeah,
is a win-win. Oh my goodness. So
absolutely.
yeah. What have been some challenges? Have you had some challenges when you've brought on, like, do you have a team now of strategists? Is that what I kind of
Yeah.
sleuthed out?
Yeah, no, we've been growing significantly, and I've got a new business partner that I brought on. So
Nice.
I'm wandering through my own succession strategy that I put together about
Ah,
4 years ago, and
okay.
started, yeah, with my I met my partner a couple of years ago after I did my
Okay.
strategy. So just for listeners,
Yeah.
our clients are important to us, and so yeah, so doing your strategy even before you need it. You start down the path because you know what you're going to do. Your
Right.
successor, you can be looking for them along the way. And then, yeah, so I've grown. I was growing it before I met her, and
Yeah.
now we're growing it together, which is
Oh,
exciting.
yeah.
And yeah, so we're into it. So we've got, right now, we've got 7 guides. So 7
Okay.
transition guides that we're
Wow.
working with.
Okay.
And that's a big deal for us to go from
Yeah.
just me to
Yeah.
7.
That is
I'm
big.
loving it. And yeah, and we're putting together, we've got a great program called Evolve that we
Okay.
have launched. And it's a program um, where a client can come through and get a transition strategy done in a
Okay.
3-day immersion program. And so they come
Mm,
through and they walk through our whole process. And They walk through it, and then after that they end up in implementation. And
Okay.
always in that, always in our work, we're not CPAs or attorneys or
Right.
financial advisors or valuation specialists or anything like that.
Hmm.
And so our work always integrates with other consultants and other advisors
Okay.
because they have their expertise. I'm a big believer in experts
Yeah.
in certain
Yes.
areas. We can't be everything for a business owner and know it all. So I
Right.
like the
Oh, love that.
specialization concept.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
So,
like
and
my
working
mind's just
together.
going, can I call you up in about a year? Because I think I'm gonna be about
Yeah.
ready to
Call us
think
up in a
about that.
year.
And I'm not gonna be able to leave my business in a year, but I think, like you said, kind of getting ahead of it and delegating my mind to somebody that knows that has the expertise of how to, or has things that, outside the box that I may not think of when I decide to ramp down my involvement
Yeah.
in the business. And that is so important and probably overlooked a lot because I don't know if this is accurate, but I feel like a lot of us are working a lot longer in life than we used to be,
We
or running
are.
our
We
businesses a
are.
lot longer. So it's hard to see, what is it, the grass or the field behind the trees
Huh?
out there.
The grass.
Like
Yeah.
for me,
Well,
it's the
yeah.
ocean and the palm trees that I want to see in my future. Um,
Yeah. We call it
it's
the
hard
next
to see
adventure.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I love
Well,
that.
and it's
So
interesting.
yeah, go
Well, I
ahead.
was just going to say it's interesting to go. Um, they recommend, right? Entrepreneurial thinking is thinking 10 years out, and it's easier when
Mm,
you're 30, 40, 50 to think 10
yeah,
years out because you're still in your business. When you
yeah,
get to like my age, you start thinking 10 years out, and 10 years out, there's a question of
yeah.
whether or not I want to be still working and whether or not I
Yes,
still own the business and whether or not I'm still actively doing the work at the
right?
same intensity, right? Because I might want to do it at
Exactly.
a lower intensity, but
Yep,
maybe not the same intensity. And where am I financially? So that
right.
10-year thinking, our transition strategy work, where you get a roadmap forward,
Uh-huh.
allows you to see that. And the cool thing is, and just like any road trip that you've ever been on,
Yeah.
if you run into weather, there's a roadblock, you decide there's something pretty over that way, that there's a cool little town you want to
Let's go
drive
see
over
it.
to, you can do it. But at
Yes.
least you know where you're going, right? And
Oof.
you know, it's so freeing and clarifying.
I'm gonna
And I
quote
was
a lot of
talking,
that. That's some great fodder for my social media.
it's really
I love the
freeing. Yeah.
analogies.
And yeah, so as an advisor, I think you care so deeply for your clients that you want to take care
Mhm.
of them. And I was talking to Andrea. Um, she wanted me to talk about this tool
Yeah.
that's called the Objectives Matrix, and it's a
Okay.
tool that we're basically providing for the podcast attendees. And it's at Transition Strategist slash Delegate to Elevate. So that's the URL. It's
I
Transition
love it.
Strategist slash Delegate to Elevate. And this Objectives Matrix is a foundation for some of our work. It's one of our tools that we're
Okay.
providing for you all. And yeah, you go in
Great.
and
Thank you.
it's very exploratory to figure out, what do I want for myself? What do I want for my spouse? What do I want for
Right.
us as a couple, for my kids and my
Yeah.
family, and for the
Yeah.
business and my employees? It's just this, it's a cool little Excel spreadsheet that we thought would
Thank
be
you.
super helpful. And yeah, we
That is
love
so
it and
kind of
people
you
use
for
it.
sharing
So
with my
you're
audience.
welcome.
Yes, thank you. That'll be great. And I will share that in the comments. When this comes out on YouTube, has the most, I can get the most in that paragraph. So I'll be sure I share that all
Okay.
there. I'll throw it all out on my socials and we'll get you a big outreach. But that's amazing. And I appreciate that gift to this audience because it's a delegation of the mind and things you haven't thought of. I
Yeah.
know that it
And
is
it's
for
a
me, and I'm
self
speaking for me.
exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
really
just
have to I
that tool
imagine it
is,
just kinda really turns you inward like, "Wow, I didn't think of that, but that's important." Yeah.
Well, and you need to kind of think, people, it's one of the biggest objectives or objections that we get. It's like, well, I'm not ready to start my transition planning because I don't know what I want. And I'm like, well, that's the first step in our work, because
Figure that stuff
having
out.
somebody help you figure out, or
Yeah.
just, or doing it, this tool, you can do it on your own, but helping, and also the peer learning, where it's
Right.
like, oh, another business owner comes in, you hear from them, and you go, oh, that's a really cool one. And one of the coolest objectives, it's a guy out of Florida, he was
Hmm.
transitioning probably 15 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and one of his objectives, the most fun one I've ever heard, is, I want to surf when the surf is up. And I was
Nice.
like, that is so cool, because you don't know when the surf's going to be up. You don't know what the tide's doing. But
Mine
when
would be
it's up,
like,
I
I
want to
want
go.
to get up early. I want
I
to get up
know.
early, not have to.
That's right. I want to surf when the surf is up.
Oh, I wanna
And
watch that
so,
guy surf when the surf is up.
I know, it's so neat. But
That's
yeah.
neat. I love
Yeah.
that.
So
And I just
anyway,
think,
there's lots of
delegating
goodness.
anyway, anything you delegate down to somebody that's an expert in that, whether it's just as simple as delegating your calendar or delegating your mind, it all is so worthwhile. And as you can see, I have so much energy for
Yeah.
delegation of the mind as much as delegating tasks to people. It's just,
Yeah.
wow, brain exploding kind
That's
of
awesome.
stuff. It's awesome brain
Awesome.
exploding though, not bad.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's
Oh,
good. I can
good.
see it in
I
you.
yeah, thank you. So if I was to ask you to, not to put you on the spot, but what I like to ask the guests is if you had a couple, like two tidbits or two golden nuggets, as I like to call them, of feeling good about moving forward in giving that mind to somebody else or giving a task to somebody else, what might tip or trick or best practice might you share with them today?
Yeah. So thanks for asking that question.
Sure.
And I think a tip that I would share is, be brave, because someday
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to do the work anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Father Time will take care of that for us one way or the other. So, I
Right.
would say be brave and help your successor, whoever it
Mm,
is, whoever you're delegating to.
uh-huh.
Their learning curve is high, and you're their mentor. And so, you go through a metamorphosis, but so do they. And
Yeah.
so, be brave, um, be emotionally aware of what you're thinking and doing, because you'll want to keep it and do
Mhm.
it better.
Ooh,
You can't grow without it. So,
right.
yeah. And then help that successor learn to do it well, so that they're successful in the role, because it gives you confidence, and then you can really let go. And when you do that, there's so much positive value and pride in that you were able to help somebody else and not keep it yourself. So,
Amen.
yeah,
I
that's
I
what I
I
would say.
felt all of those inside my body. So thank you so much for sharing those. Oh my goodness. Um, I will close on that beautiful note because I think that's a great takeaway today. Both those things you've told us about, and I hope that people will visit your site, will call and set up an appointment to talk about their own transition strategy because I know I'm going to be coming your way soon.
Good.
I hope
We want
because
you to explore.
I do. I want to explore, at least be an
Yeah,
explorer, at least at this point, because
that's right.
I've thought about it, but I too want to set people up to be successful when they succeed me, and I do want to leave a legacy for my daughters and things like that.
Yeah,
And I have the basics in my head, but I don't have the full journey, and that's just like the delegation journey. Everybody, it's you don't know until you meet somebody that can tell you what they've been through and what else they can share with you to make it feel a little bit easier. So,
yeah.
thanks again for being here today, Elizabeth. I appreciate you more
Thank
than you
you.
know. You've enlightened me a lot, and I'm sure you have with the rest of my audience. So, everybody, please subscribe and like and share with a colleague, a friend, and a family member if this episode resonated with you or it hit a chord or struck a chord like it did in me and my heart. And delegate to elevate so you can get shit done and you can
That's
move
right.
on with your life, find some freedom, find that wave to surf on when the time is right. I didn't quote her exactly right, but
Yeah. Surf
thank
when
you,
the surf
Dana.
is up.
Surf when the surf is up.
Surf
Yes.
when the
All
surf is
right.
up. That's
Have a
right.
fantastic day. Thank you so, so much. Bye
Thank
now.
you. Be well.
Have you ever felt frustrated, overwhelmed, or stuck wasting time in admin instead of growing, leveraging, and scaling your business? Then this podcast is for you. Welcome to Delegate to Elevate, the podcast that's all about handing off what you don't need to do so you can focus on what you do best. So here's your host, Bonnie Schutz.